Congress is making slow progress on the Republican replacement for Obamacare. Democratic delays kept lawmakers working all night long, though the House Ways and Means Committee did manage to approve a key provision at around 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
That comes as the health care bill faces growing opposition from key medical groups, including the American Medical Association and other powerful advocates. Meanwhile, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas delivered this message for his colleagues in the House this morning. Quote, House health care bill can't pass Senate without major changes to my friends in House. Pause, start over, get it right, don't get it fast.
Let's bring in Eliza Collins. She's a congressional reporter for USA Today, and she joins us now from Washington. So, Eliza, what we just read from Senator Cotton is something you're hearing from other lawmakers and sources on Capitol Hill as well, that this bill simply does not have a chance without some major changes.
That's exactly right. And I'm actually hearing it from different factions of the Republican Party. So in the Senate, more moderate Republicans are saying, look, this bill doesn't go far enough. It hasn't been thought out. What's going to happen to the states that took the Medicaid expansion? There's lots of people depending on that money. Now, you have a couple senators, Senator Rand Paul and Senator Mike Lee in the Senate as well, who are on the more conservative end saying this bill doesn't go far enough. And that's the same in the House. There's a couple larger caucuses within the House that have a lot of political clout just by their numbers, and they're saying, look, this isn't going far enough. And the numbers of these people who are speaking out can actually stop this legislation, because there are no Democrats expected to repeal their own health care bill, and so they need every Republican vote they can get.
So we mentioned that there are a few pretty large advocacy groups that are also opposed to this. The American Medical Association, AARP. Tell me, how influential do you think these groups can be with this process?
I mean, we'll have to see, but I do think they can be influential, and we saw that in them getting Obamacare passed back in 2010. They have a lot of members, and they have a lot of political muscle, and if they put those resources into it, they can definitely push through. So if they're really going to speak out and push back, I think that could really have an effect.
Eliza, there was an interesting exchange yesterday during Sean Spicer's briefing. He said yesterday that the president is in sell mode on the health care bill. He talked about his expertise as a negotiator, as somebody who does deals. What can you tell us about the sort of outreach efforts the White House is planning?
I actually have a story coming out on this morning. The White House is in, as Rand Paul called it, charm mode. They are already full throttle going out. Last night, President Trump had a meeting with a bunch of conservative advocacy groups who have said that they are not okay with the current legislation. They're kind of on that same end as the Freedom Caucus. They're putting money behind ads, and so Trump had them all at the White House. He's the art of the deal, right? This businessman, he sat down with them. They came out after. I talked to one this morning who said he was pretty optimistic that things could work out, and that if needed, Trump might need to take over from House leadership, who's basically saying this is non-negotiable. So the White House is giving a different message. They're bringing in Mike Pence is going to Kentucky this weekend. That's where Rand Paul's from. So they're definitely already pushing forward. They keep sending people to the Hill. It seems to be working.
I want to turn your attention to something else that you've been reporting on, and that's the continued fallout over the president's wiretapping allegation. Senator Lindsey Graham is among the lawmakers demanding that the FBI produce evidence related to the allegation. So let's take a listen to what the senator had to say yesterday, and then we can talk about it on the other side.
He's challenged Congress to do something about it. I accept that challenge, and I expect the FBI director and the Department of Justice to notify us if a warrant was obtained. If there's no warrant, that's something we need to know. If there was a warrant, I need to understand why one was issued. President Trump has alleged something very serious. I'm willing to get to the bottom of it, and it should be pretty easy to solve.
All right, Senator Lindsey Graham taking the president's tweets literally, right, and seriously. So where do things go from here? He's calling for a thorough investigation.
Right. So the White House has not provided any evidence of this. They're kind of giving a muddled messaging, I think, sort of hoping this goes away. As we know, President Trump did this Saturday morning, and aides didn't even know he was going to. But we won't necessarily know what the FBI releases to these congressional committees, because some of it is behind closed doors and confidential. If they don't release it, you can definitely expect someone like Senator Graham and Democrats to come out and make a big deal about this. Graham has said that he'd be willing to subpoena for records, and Senator Susan Collins, I believe, said she didn't close the door on requesting Trump's tax returns to kind of bring more light to this. So I think we might not know what is given, but if it's not given, I think we'll hear about it.
Eliza, are you hearing from lawmakers that this tweet from the president about the former President Obama wiretapping Trump Tower may put the president in a precarious position? On the one hand, if the allegations turn out to be baseless, then where did the president come up with that information and why did he tweet it? On the other hand, if it turns out that the Obama administration felt that there was a legal reason for tapping the phones or the communication system at Trump Tower and they went to the FBI and got the proper warrants, that could be a very big deal as well.
Exactly. And the third option, of course, would be that President Obama broke the law, which his team has said he most definitely didn't do. So Democrats are jumping on this. They're saying, look, you might have just sold yourself out, saying that there was reason to believe in criminal action. So Democrats are definitely pitching that storyline. Republicans, I think, they're hoping this goes away. They're keeping quiet, although most Republicans will go on the record and say they have not heard similar allegations, which is kind of a big deal, that they're not backing up the president of their same party.
And I just want to real quick, I know we have about 10 seconds, Eliza, but so how far are we into the investigation into the undocumented folks that voted in the last election? I know the president asked the Congress to investigate that as well. Is that something that's gone away, as you said that they're hoping with this particular story?
I haven't heard about it. I don't know if you guys have. I know he made this big call and it kind of talked about a little bit on Capitol Hill, but I don't know who's investigating that.
All right. Eliza Collins of USA Today, always grateful for the opportunity to talk to you. Thank you, Eliza.
Thanks for having me.